One of the things that you can do in queries is create a calculated field. For instance, let's look at the faculty table. I have faculty ID, last name, first name, city, state, zip, phone, salary, and that's all the fields that I have right now on my faculty table. But if I want to give my faculty members a raise, but I don't want it to display in the table, I can run a query. So I'm going to close this table out, click on Create, Query Design, and the tables that I want to use right now is just the class, or excuse me, faculty. We're working with faculty. Click on Add, and then Close. So I want to show all faculty members the current salary, give them a 10% raise, and then show what their new salary would look like. So I don't have to bring in faculty ID. I just want the first name and the last name and their current salary. Now in this table I don't have a raise or new salary. I don't want it in the table. The table houses all of the data, but I can manipulate the data using the query. I can ask a question. I'm going to create a calculated field. This is a new field in my query, and the best thing to do is to insert an equation. I'm going to a blank field, right click on that blank field and click on Zoom. Zoom just brings me a little bit bigger box so that I can type in my equation. The first thing I need to do is, what name do I want to give my new field column? And in this case I'm just going to call it raise amount. That's the name of my new field column. That is separated from the equation by a colon, so I stick a colon in there, and to calculate a raise amount, remember I want 10% of the current salary. I take the salary field and I put it in enclosed square brackets. So there's the opening in my square bracket, salary, and then close that square bracket out, times 0.10, representing 10%. Now, one word of warning: if I misspelled salary in my table, I need to misspell it here as well. This has to, whoops, sorry about that. This has to match exactly word, letter for letter. Another thing to remember, you don't want any spaces after this colon mark. So be sure there's no spaces. You can have a space in between the square brackets. Whatever the name of your field is that you're using in the equation, there can be spaces, but make sure the enclosed square brackets are around that name. Multiply times 0.10, make sure there's no spaces here, hit OK, and that shows up in my blank field. Now I can run the query, and I see raise amount. I can't really see all of it, so I'm going to expand that just a little bit, and now but you also see that this column is not formatted. So if I go back to my design view, if I click on property sheet up above, format currency, and then I'm going to close that out and run that again, and you see the currency amount. Okay, now then I need to create a column for new salary. I want to add the salary to the raise amount and create a new salary. So I'm going to click in the blank field in my query design grid, right click, zoom. The name of my column is going to be new salary, followed by a colon. Now I'm going to take the salary, I'm going to take the value from a salary field and add it to the value from the raise amount field. So I'm going to click in type in my square bracket, type in salary, close that square bracket, plus symbol, open square bracket, raise amount. Now recall I said there could be a space in the field name as long as it's surrounded by the square brackets, but there's no space in between the plus signs or right after the colon. Okay, now this again, the new salary is just going to take the value from the old salary, add it to a value from the raise amount. Click OK, and I'm going to run my query. I don't need to make any formatting changes here. Access automatically did that for me, but you can see 56,000 plus 5,600 is 61,600. So again, just created a calculated field. You do that in design, and now I can create a report based on this query without having to change my faculty table information.